Today we are doing part 2 of our 8-part series of the 8-day self-care challenge. Last week we did exercise. Today we are doing getting outside. Some of the things you can do when you get outside, some of the benefits that come along with just being outside. They said the average person spends 80% of a year indoors and only 20% outdoor. So we're going to try to change that with some of these tips that I give you about what to do when you're outside. Hi, I'm the Libra man. Let's get right into it. One tip is walking. Walking, not just on your job. Sometimes if you're in the building, you can go and do laps inside of walking. But since this is on outside, try to do that walking outside of your building if you can, if it's not too hot. Really one of the benefits of being outside, because in order to be outside and have movement, if you're not driving, if you're not riding a bike, you're walking. There's many mental health benefits that come along with walking. It improves your mental health, it improves your physical health, it improves you spiritually and emotionally, and it will allow you the opportunity to just be outdoors and get connected with nature. It's very soothing. And by being outside, you are reducing your anxiety automatically. A lot of times, there's a lot of pressure that comes along with being indoors. Could it be being at home, being at work, being kind of closed in to a certain particular building or other? Just to get outside and take a breath of fresh air is very rewarding, and it reduces any anxiety that you might be feeling at the time. That's why a lot of people, if they're feeling frustrated or something like that at work, they say, man, I need to get outside. And they'll take a little break, 5-10 minutes outside, and come back in and be a different person. Because it's very healing to be outside. Being outside, they say, can help with depression. It is a very preventative measure that you can use to avoid depression. A lot of times people that suffer from depression are closed in, they're in a specific room, they're in a specific area, they don't want to be around people, they don't want to go out, and it's easier for that depression to set in and fester when you're in that mode, opposed to just getting out, and getting out in nature and getting outside. It has a lot to do, and it really can alleviate some of the issues that people face when they're depressed, and to avoid them suffering from depression. Because we all can be depressed at a certain time, but depression is that mental state that we are already in it based upon the fact that we allowed ourselves to be depressed for so long that now we're in this depression, this certain state that is just normal for us to be that way. Because like I said, being around nature, being outside improves your mental health in so many ways, man. It's just a good, healthy, therapeutic thing to do, to get outside as much as possible. Being out in nature and being outdoors is soothing and calming to humans. And it's very protective feeling that comes along with just being out in nature. You feel like you're okay. You feel like you don't really have anything to fear when you're out in nature and just enjoying yourself and just enjoying the outdoors and taking that breath of fresh air in and just smelling the green grass and trees and just hearing the rustling of the wind and things like that. It's very, very soothing, and you do feel protected. Another thing, people's brains actually function differently when they're in nature. Now, this is not something that I came up with. This is something that I researched. Scientists that definitely said people that are out in nature, mind functions differently than it does when they're inside or not out in nature. The examples they gave is that you feel more freer when you're out there, and your brain will function a little bit differently and actually can come up with some things that you couldn't figure out before. But now that you're out in nature, or out on the water or out on some place that's very, very calming, your brain can actually come up with those answers to a lot of those questions that you had that you couldn't figure out when you weren't in nature. Nature's very, very therapeutic. And that comes from scientists, not just from me, but I agree with it. Nature definitely can change the way you feel and the way you think. Because if it can relieve your anxiety, it's automatically changing the way you feel. And a lot of times when you release that anxiety, the way that you're thinking will change, because now I'm not thinking and focusing on the fact that I'm so anxious. It's been relieved, so now I start thinking about more positive things. It'll help you to go to like a park, a playground or anything like that that's close. You don't have to actually go into the heart of nature to experience what I'm talking about. But anything you do that gets you outside more opposed to being inside is going to be nothing but helpful to you. Mental health benefits can impact anyone, not just someone who's depressed or anxious. It can help anyone if you allow it to. So let's get out there in nature and improve our mental health. Let's take that 80% inside and 20% outside. Let's bring that a little bit closer together. For those of you who didn't see part 1 of this series of 8, I will link that so you can watch part 1. It doesn't matter which order you watch these in. It just matters that you apply them and let them work for you. If you like anything I said in this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and until next time, the Libra Man is out.